Hi, this is Miss Cindy. It's been a while. I hope everyone in their family's doing okay. It's kind of hard coming up with trying to do craft projects only using supplies you already have. So I'm going to revisit one that my grandkids did. They did a little vase, which was maybe about half this size, and they did a stained glass design on it with glass paint. And then they put a little small candle in it. It was a gift for Christmas for their parents. And it came out really good. And I've done a faux stained glass platter. And then they did the little vases. So I got this vase for, I don't know, some occasion. I've been holding on to it. So I think I'm going to try that stained glass on this vase, only I am going to put fairy lights in it because I had another pair left over. So I'm going to do that. I can't draw, and if any of you been following me, you know I can't draw. So what I'm going to do is whatever design I'm going to put on here, I'm going to print it on paper. I'm going to put it inside. I'm going to tape it, and then I'm just going to outline my picture using not the magic marker, but the chalkboard, the whiteboard. Because this way, if I make a mistake, I can always just wipe it off and do it over again. Anyway, I also haven't decided if which glass paint I'm going to use, because I have two. I have one that has a nozzle that I can just pour on there, and then I have one that I can brush on there. So I guess it depends on whatever colors that I'm going to use. For outlining, I already have the black outliner. I'm hoping this nozzle isn't going to be too big, because when I do small intricate work, the stained glass, I usually use this tiny needlepoint nozzle. So when I get all set up and I print whatever I'm going to put on here, I will be back when I get started. So I've I printed this butterfly only because it has a lot of different sections that I think I can play around with the different colors. And I went ahead and cut it just so it's right at the top of the vase where it's nice and flat. And I taped it, and now I'm going to use my marker, but this is for the whiteboard, so that if I make a mistake, I can go ahead and just wipe it off. And it helps when I put the lining on also. If I mess up, I can wipe it off if I don't go exactly over the line. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my time and try to draw this, outline it, so that I have a guide when I do the liner. Okay, so I'm going to sit here and take my time and try to outline this butterfly, and then I'm going to use the liquid leading to fill this in. I'm going to try to practice on this one to see if this line is too big for these small lines. If it works, it works. If not, I will go to the needle point. So I'll be back. Okay, so I am finished with the butterfly. I put it on some white paper so that you can see it. And then I did my random stained glass design lines around the outside. That's just give me an idea. This is going to take a lot of time because by this being round and not flat, I can only do a little section and let it dry in case I have to lay it down. But now we're ready to use the piping. That's what I haven't decided which one I'm going to do. I have got to really take my time and see how big this is going to come out of this little nozzle here. So I'm going to do a line first as opposed to going straight for the butterfly. It doesn't matter if those are thick. I just don't want to mess up the butterfly. So using my lead lining, and you're supposed to do this continuously, but this is not the easiest thing to do. I think I'm going to try the lead lining all the way through, at least for the butterfly. I think this line will be okay. If it doesn't look like it's going to be okay, then I can always use paint. I can use acrylic paint, which I've used before, and just fill in the rest of the lines. But for the butterfly, I think this may just work. So let me get some of this butterfly done, and then I will come back and show you my progress. Okay, so I've done the butterfly with the lining, and this is what it looks like. There's some spots I didn't go exactly over my my marker, so I'm gonna let this side dry. I'll probably do this in 1, 2, maybe 3 sections, but I'm gonna let this dry really good, and then if I did not go over the line well enough, I'm gonna use my toothpick and just wipe it off. Actually, the toothpick is a good tool to have when you're doing this, because even if you put the lining on and you mess up the line or too much drops off, you can always use a toothpick and it pulls it right off as long as it's still wet. So we're going to let this dry, and then I'll go ahead and finish up, and I'll show you what it looks like before I start painting. Okay, I finished the lining, the outline, using my dry erase marker. And this is what it looks like. Now, I'm going to let this dry probably for a day really good. And then after it dries, I'm going to use my Q-tip and wipe along the lines where I didn't go over the dry erase marker well enough. And then if there's any problems I had where the paint dropped, I can also take my X-Acto knife and just scrape that off. But I want to make sure it's nice and dry, and that will come off. And then I'm ready to paint. Again, I made this a lot of little spaces, so it's going to take a lot of painting. And I'm just going to try to make it as colorful as possible. I haven't decided if I'm just going to do a light color, like one coat, or if I'm going to do more than one coat. When the girls did theirs, they didn't do but maybe a coat, maybe 2 coats. But when I did my platter, I ended up doing it was multiple coats, because it just didn't look great, too light. So if I'm going to have the lights in there, I guess I can do a couple of coats. We'll see as we go. But anyway, all of the lining is done, and I'm just going to let it dry before I start painting. Okay, so I decided to fill in the butterfly. I want that black. And then I tried my glass paint, the one that has the nozzle on it. This went on really easy, and I think I can get away with just doing 1 coat. I didn't try to brush on yet, but I've got so many spots in here that I have to paint. I really don't think it's going to matter. I'm hoping, I'm using the Deco Art glass paint, and I'm hoping with a brush it will go on as solid and in 1 coat like this. Glass paint is my worst paint. I really don't like glass paint, but I needed to do a project, so here we are. I just don't want it too light, because when it's so light, it shows the brush marks. And it doesn't matter how many soft brush bristle brushes that I use, it always, even when it dries, it shows the streak. So that's why I want it on heavy. Anyway, I did test the light in here just to make sure it would shine through. And it will, it's not really clear, but it will still light up with just a one coat of heavy paint. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I will just be checking back to show you the progress that I've made. Well, here's my progress so far. The butterfly is done, and I'm just filling in the other little spaces. It's you have to take your time with this. And did I mention at least a dozen times that glass paint is my least favorite paint to use? Anyway, I'm going to finish this up. I'm not running into any problems, except for I am noticing when I brush on, I have less little tiny air bubbles than when I use the one that has the nozzle. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep going. See, I don't know if you can even see here, but there's tiny air bubbles in here. Excuse me. And there's too many of them for me to sit here and pop with a toothpick along the way. So I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, let me finish up. And when I come back, I should be totally finished. Okay, I'm finished with this vase using the glass paint. I'm showing it to you in the dark. I'll turn the light on in a minute. Okay, all of the paint is done. This is what it looks like if I turn it around. Oops. And then, naturally, I touched it the wrong way. All I did was, after I got it painted, I just took some rope and I glued some rope around the lid so it wouldn't be just empty up there. I'm going to do this again, but I will not be using glass paint. I even have two vases here that I'm going to play around with because I like having the fairy lights inside the vase. I think that's pretty cool. I just got to figure out what I'm going to put on the outside so the lights still shine through. But I'm definitely going to do something with one of these vases. Anyway, this is a pretty simple project you can do. I know y'all can do a whole lot better than I can. I do not like this. I have not mastered this glass paint, but it was a fun project. And anyone can do it. Anyway, have a great day. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll be back soon.